Okay, so I want to give you guys a definition of a word called a function. And this is going to be the principal study of mathematics actually from here on out. This is why algebra is kind of different than the things that have come before it. So I'm going to give you a definition. I'm going to say a function, and I'm just shorthanding, so is a rule associating inputs to outputs. Okay, I'm assuming you all know kind of what an input and an output is. So basically this is just, I put some stuff in this machine, I call it a function, and it gives me something back. That could be, for example, the function that just paints stuff blue. So I could, look at my blue function. Here's a sheep. I put a sheep into the paint blue function. What do you get out? You get out, of course, a blue sheep. If you put a little man into the painted blue function, what do you get out? Of course, you get a little blue man, right? So this is kind of what I mean by a rule associating inputs and outputs. Over here are some inputs. Right? They're kind of listed here. Over here are some outputs. They're listed here. We have some names for some of this stuff that we'll get to in a bit. But for right now, I just want you to know there's a rule associating inputs to outputs. Now, the thing that makes it special, the thing that makes it a function, is not just that it's a rule, but that it's a rule with. So, function is a rule associating inputs to outputs where each input is associated to one. Okay, so every input gives an output, and it only gives one. Cool. So with each input associated to one and only one output. What that means is that if I put a box into the function, that it's not going to turn into a blue box sometimes and other times a black box, right? It's going to be predictable. So if I put the same thing into it now, I'm going to get the same thing that I would get out if I put it in later. Does that make sense? So this is all I want from you for now. Right now, function is a rule associating ins to outs. Specifically, I can have this kind of picture where an input corresponds to an output, but what I cannot have is this sort of picture where it goes two places. Yeah, this is not allowed. No. The thing that is allowed, which is a little bit similar, is like, for instance, I could just have the function that turns everything into blue sheep. Like, that would be allowed, because each input has an output, and there's only one of it. Even if the same output happens for multiple inputs, that's okay. So you're allowed to have collapsing, but not exploding. Cool?